There, Representative Mark Takano, you introduced the 32-Hour Work Act to Congress back in July, and the Congressional Progressive Caucus endorsed the bill, so congratulations. But what was the motive for introducing this bill?
Well, the motive of any bill I introduce is about helping people and making lives better for all Americans. And, the motive is to is to give people the tools to have a better work-life balance, for them to have healthier lives, for them to be able to take care of their families, especially young children and elders as well. There are many people caught in between caring for children and also for their aging parents or relatives. So there's much to be gained by a better work-life balance. And we live in a different time than 90 years ago when we established the 40-hour work week. It wasn't a given that Americans would work 40 hours a week, 40 hours a week, and have 2 days off for a weekend. The 2-day weekend was not universal until we enacted the Fair Labor Standards Act in the 1930s. It's been 90 years since then, and we've had a lot of technological changes. The American worker is exponentially more productive than previous generations. So it's time to re-examine, Americans and the way in which they relate to work.
Now, you mentioned some of the benefits of a 32-hour work week for employees having more family time, having better lives, essentially. But what are some of the benefits for the employers in this?
Well, employers are, in this particular context, this particular time, they really have a challenge in terms of keeping and retaining a motivated workforce. There are wanted signs everywhere, and we're far beyond that point at which we can point to extra unemployment insurance, supplemental unemployment insurance being the reason why people aren't returning back to work, or they're not returning to the old jobs that they had. We're looking at an extremely competitive market for employers. So keeping a motivated workforce, keeping a happy workforce with better working conditions is definitely an attraction point. We're also seeing for employers that there may be some advantages in let me say that not having a motivated workforce, but also an equally productive workforce, or even more productive workforce. We've seen in experiments conducted by Iceland and other nations, and other companies, and companies in general, that they've been able to reduce work hours, keep pay constant, but also see that productivity doesn't suffer. These studies, there's still more studies and experiments being done. But if you're an employer and you can keep the same level of productivity and keep your workforce happier, or have your workforce be happier, that's a real plus for employers.